Good morning, this is Mr. Morales, and I'll be going over our second 9 weeks, 3 weeks exam. There we go. It's a bit early in the morning right now as I record this, so forgive me, my voice is a little scratchy and whatnot. So let's go ahead and, if I can load it up here we go. Hopefully get started with this. So, here we go. Let me shrink this down a bit so we can see the answer choices as I discuss the question. Move that out of the way. Alright, so number one, what are the equation and the slope of the line shown on the grid? Well, first of all, we learned that when you have a perfectly vertical line, we use that as an indication that it's going to be a defined slope. So out of choices A, B, C, and D, only choice D has the right slope of undefined. And the x equals 6 comes from the fact that this line that we have here intercepts the x-axis at the value of 6. So that's where this comes from. All right, so there's number one for you, pretty basic. Number two, Mrs. Cordero conducted a survey in her class on the ages of famous people. The table below shows the results of her survey. So we have the actual guesses up here on the left side of what the students made and the actual age of the celebrities. So they made which equation could best represent the line of best fit for the given data set. So we're looking for like our correlation coefficient, basically. So let's go ahead or actually we're looking for the slope and y-intercept of all these points. So we're going to have to do our data set and our calculator when we do correlation coefficient, which I already have done for us. The next step now is to get our stat calculations. So menu, stats, stat calculations. We do everything in slope-intercept or mx plus b so far at this point. Select our x list is x stuff, our y list is y stuff, and then just go to OK. And here's our stats. We have our slope here of 1.19. So if I go back to my answer choices, I have a positive 1.19 right here on choice F. So right there I can go ahead and stop. I don't need any more information because that's the only option that gives me the correct slope. Moving on to question number 3 now. A linear function is graphed on the coordinate plane below. Which of the following is a correct representation of the key features of the line? So we're talking about the attributes of this line. Now, the first option they give us is talking about the slope. So I'll go ahead and calculate the slope right now so I can take out any bad choices. So slope is always rise over run from left to right. So I rise positive 2, and then I run to the right 1, 2, 3. So I have a slope of 2/3. So that takes out choices B, C, and then we look at choice D. Choice D is still in the running. Now it talks about the y-intercept. So where does the graph intercept the y-axis? Right here at -2. So this says 3, so that's out then. -2 and 2/3 slope is the correct choice there. Moving on. The data table below shows the ages and weights in pounds of 9 randomly selected adults. What is the correlation coefficient between the age and weight, and what does the coefficient indicate? So for this one, we have to do a calculation, and we'll go ahead and do it in the calculator. At this point, most of you guys should already know how to do all this, but if not, this will be a fast and furious review. So we go to list, we start a new list in spreadsheet with an X column and a Y column. And I'll go ahead and enter all the ages in as my X data. So as I do that, let's go ahead and make sure I have everything correct. 53, 79, 48, 65, and 34. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 data points. That's what I see here. Let me review them real quick. You got to make sure you have everything correct, because if you have even one number wrong, then your data will not be accurate and won't belong to your answer choices. So my X's look okay. If I quickly visually verified, I have 139. Now I have, let's see what else. After 139, I'm going to go ahead and go to 117. Lost track there. 215, 184, 161, 132, 147, 179. Oops, there you go. And 171. You slow down a bit. So I quickly visually verify that these all look correct. 139, 17, 215, 184, 161, 32. 7, 79, 171. Great. So now we need the correlation coefficient. Menu, stats, stat calculations, same thing again for linear regression. X stuff goes in the X list, Y stuff goes in the Y list, click OK. And then we have our values here. Now, the biggest issue we noticed on the test was that a lot of students went to the r squared. That is incorrect. What you want is just plain r. So we have a correlation coefficient of 0.09. So if you remember that, you can already take out the bad answers. 0.09 corresponds to the following choices, not this one, so that's 009, or this one down here. So now we have 0.09 here and here. What does that mean? Well, we know that it's really close. It's closer to 0 than it is to 1. So we know it's going to be weak. So here we have the word weak. Here we have the word strong, which is not what it is. So choice G is the correct answer. All right, be careful with that. You always want to use this r value, not the r squared. So let's go ahead and move on to the next question now. Let's see what we have. Number 5. The table below shows the price of a medium ice cream cone with up to 5 toppings at Sal's ice cream stand. What is the rate of change in price with respect to the number of toppings? So there's a couple of ways you can do it. I can take 2 points and just intercept. If you really want to do it on the calculator, you can actually do that pretty quick as well. I'll go ahead and just start a new spreadsheet because remember, when you have multiple data points, you can always get everything you need from a listed spreadsheet. You can even do it with as little as 1 to 2 data points, depending on what you're looking for. So for my X and my Y column, I'll go ahead and enter the number of toppings. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I just noticed my voice cracked quite a bit there. That's really nice. Let's see, 2.99, 3.88, 4.77, 5.66, 6.55, and 7.44. All right, let's go ahead and get our stat calculations just to make sure everything is legit and as accurate as we can get it. X stuff, Y stuff, and our slope is right there of 0.89. So 0.89 represents a rate of change. That means they're charging an extra 89 cents per topping. You could have just done any 2 points and done the slope formula as well and gotten the same result since it is a linear change. Number 6, which of the following situations best represents causation? Causation is more like cause and effect, so you gotta think logically and rationally. Choice F, weather gets colder and more people drink soda. No relationship there, so we take that out. Choice G, children who have a large foot size have higher reading ability. No correlation or association there. Choice H, an hourly employee works more hours, therefore makes more money. This seems to make sense. Let's check the last one. As the temperature of Florida increases, there are more shark attacks. That may possibly be at some level, but definitely not as significant as this right here. You know, this is definitely going to happen as if you're an employee, you directly get paid more. Temperature can fluctuate, and you may not have an increase in shark attacks. So H is your best logical choice there. For number 7, we're asked, what is the slope of the line that goes through the points 3, -8, and -11, 4? So for this one, I'll go ahead and do the slope formula. It's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So here I have a double negative. 4 plus 8 would give me 12. Here I have, I'll change the signs there, so I'm getting more negative really. I have negative 24. Negative 12 over negative 24 simplifies to negative 1/2. So many students getting the reciprocal of negative 2 because you wanted the bigger answer so bad to be on top. It's nice when that happens, but it's not always the case. Use the formula and trust your instincts. Number 8. Which of the following lines is perpendicular to the line y equals -3x plus 2 and passes to the point -2, 8. So for this one, let's look at our slope. Our original line has a slope of -3 over 1. To make it perpendicular, it's going to have to flip and change. So it'll then turn into 1/3 positive because it flips its sign from negative to positive, and then we change it to the reciprocal of 1/3. So I need a line with a slope of 1/3. I have that right here, and I have that right here, so I can take out these 2 choices. Now I have a point remaining. So I have a slope, and I have a point. So I'm going to have to use the point slope formula. Y minus y1 equals my slope times x minus x1. So I have a double negative in there. So I have y minus 8, I'll leave that alone. I'll distribute the 1/3 x, which is 1/3 x. 1/3 times positive 2 is going to be a positive 2/3. And then I'm going to go ahead and add the 8 to both sides, so by itself. Y equals 1/3 x. 8 and 2/3 is really the same thing as 26/3. you could have just converted it or done Texas at the end of middle school. So the fraction answer, the one that most students would probably be more scared to try to attempt to solve and check, was the right answer. Be careful with that. Fractions are your friends. Number 9, which equation represents a line that is parallel to the line y equals negative 4x plus 5? Our slope is negative 4. Parallel lines have similar or same slopes. So I need another line with a negative 4 slope. And right there, I already have choice B, process of elimination. Question 10. The graph of the linear equation is shown below. What is the y-intercept? Y-intercept is wherever your line or graph intercepts the y-axis. So that would be at negative 3. It was a gridable, so make sure you put the negative sign in there to indicate you wanted a negative answer. Number 11. What is the equation of a line that passes through the point 3, negative 1, and has a slope of 2? We have a point, we have a slope. We're going to use point slope formula. Y minus y1 equals our slope times x minus x1. So that's our x1, that's our y1, this is a quick review. Double negative means plus positive, so I have y plus 1 on the left, leave that alone. I'll distribute the 2 times x, which is 2x. 2 times negative 3 is a negative 6. Go ahead and subtract 1 from both sides, hit y by itself. And then y equals 2x. Negative 6 minus 1 more is minus 7. You can also graph each one at a time and turn the table to see which one goes through that point and check the slope to make sure that works too. Moving on to the top of the right-hand side. A representation of a linear equation in 2 variables is graphed on the coordinate plane below. Which linear equation in 2 variables can be used to represent the line? So let's start off with our most basic information, which is the slope. We have 2 points right here and another good one down here. So that's going to be negative 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 4 over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Negative 4 split 6 gives me a slope of negative 2/3 when simplified. So that's a key feature I'm looking for. I also have a y-intercept right here at positive 4. So I have my slope, and then I have my y-intercept. So let's go ahead and look at my options down here. A slope of negative 2/3 does not appear here, so I can take that out. Here I have standard form, so I'll go ahead and find the slope. The slope is equal to the opposite of your a value divided by your b value. A is positive 2, so that gives me a negative 2. B is negative 3. Negative divided by negative is a positive 2/3. I get a negative 2/3, so I can take this one out now. Let's go ahead and check choice D. To get my slope, it's the opposite of your a coefficient divided by your b coefficient. A is a positive 2, so it becomes a negative 2 over positive 3. That's the slope I want. So both of these slopes check out. Now I need to check the y-intercepts. Y-intercept is positive 4. This says positive 6, so I can go ahead and take that out. Here, I don't see a 4, but we do know to get the y-intercept, that's equal to your c coefficient divided by your b coefficient. Our c coefficient, which is our constant at the end, is 12. Our b coefficient, which is the number of y's we have, which is 3. 12 divided by 3 gives us the 4. So choice D checks out. Most students, I think, got fatigued and just didn't want to check or graph or verify. So this one was missed quite a lot, although it was pretty easy. Number 13. A student rode a bike from school to a rec center. The graph shows the student's distance in miles from the rec center after riding the bike for X minutes. So here's our graph. What is the domain of the function for this situation? The domain is how wide your graph is. In this case, we're measuring time. So let's start. What's the least amount of time? That was at time 0. All right. As the graph continued, he took no breaks. Time continued solidly until he arrived home, it appears, and that was in about 28 minutes. Domain is represented by our x value, and he was riding the whole time with no breaks from 0 to 28 minutes. So let's take our choices. Whoops, I need to make that mark. All real numbers greater than or equal to 0 and less than or equal to 28. So everything bigger than 0, that means everything going to the left that way, but less than 28, and equal to it, which is true. So this works. All real numbers greater than or equal to 0, less than or equal to 9. 9 has nothing to do with our domain, so we take that out, and take that down here as well. All real numbers less than or equal to 28. That's true until you get to 0. There was no time before 0, because we can't go backwards in time in this case, so this one makes no sense either. So choice A was our best option there. Number 14, the graph of a linear parent function f was transformed to create the graph of g of x equals negative f of x plus 4.
Good morning.
Sorry about the distraction there. There was a quick announcement that I needed to pause the video for. So we have some new equation, and here are its characteristics. A lot of students didn't know what this meant. We can make some inferences. A negative straight line value means that we're going to have a decreasing line, or a line that goes downwards. So let's go ahead and look for that. A downwards line. That takes away this first one. So choice F is no good. Choice G has potential because it's going downwards. Choice H is going upwards, so that's no good. And then choice J is also going upwards from left to right. So there's only one that even responds to a negative value, and that's going to be this one right here. So choice G was already the right answer. To verify it, we know it crosses at a y-intercept of positive 4. So we have that going on right here. So that was the best answer choice. And there you go. There's your Fast and Furious 3 weeks exam, analysis. Best of luck, and make sure you study hard for your next test, guys.